Welcome back to Star News. I'm Mark Childry. Glad to have you here. And we've been talking a lot, as you well know. If you've been watching us for a while, you know we've been talking a lot about coronavirus and how it's affecting our area. And we do know that it's impacting our area. We like to catch up with our officials, our city officials, and find out just how things are going. And we're going to take a few minutes and talk with Eden Mayor Neville Hall about how it's affecting the land of Two Rivers. And he's with us by telephone. As we've mentioned to you before, we're social distancing here at Star News TV in Reidsville to keep everyone safe, our guests, and keep us safe as well. And so we're doing our interviews by phone for the time being. We'll get back to doing them in the studio as soon as things calm down just a little bit. Mayor, thanks for being on the air with us. Appreciate it. Hope things are going well for you today.
No, thank you, Mark. Yeah, doing okay. Just hanging in there trying to get through all this craziness. And I guess we'll have to just keep doing this by phone for a while, at least until they allow us to start getting haircuts again, because it's been kind of rough for a couple weeks.
Yeah, do I need to send a bowl over to your house
your clippers or whatever you're using to maintain that?
Right, I'll send a bowl and send some clippers over to your house, and we'll get your wife Mel. She can get on that, and you'll look dapper for the next time you actually drop by the studios here to do
I look forward to that.
An end segment. But I'm telling you, we talk about this thing every day, and we do know there are a lot of people, there are a lot of rumors out there, there are a lot of misconceptions about things. And I'm talking about how different governments operate. And I think maybe some of the confusion comes because we have an order from the governor, and then different local governments, county governments, city governments, all are issuing different types of orders, executive orders. So that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today. We'll talk about some of that. But how's things going with Eden City government? Things still chugging right along?
Well, actually, since our last talk, the city hall is now closed to the public, to protect the health of the employees that are still working, as well as the public.
Right.
So the staff is still in the building, or a lot of them are working remotely, but continue to work for the citizens. And really, the way to reach them is by phone or email. If you have the main number, you can access any department at the local to get your local government needs. You just dial 336-623-2110, and then if you hit option 8, that's the manager's office, and he can put you in touch with, or he or whoever gets into the phone there can put you in touch with the point of contact. You can reach out to them with your questions or concerns. But the city is open and still functioning, and obviously still providing the essential services that are needed. And and there's one of the things I get questions about too, about how to pay the utility bills. There's several options for doing that. You could pay by mail, or we have a drop box up in front of City Hall. It's a green box. You just drive up in the circle and get an envelope from there, and just place your payment inside the envelope and then put it in the box. And of course, you can always pay online at www.edennc.us. And then lastly, is again call in to 336-623-2110, and option 1 would get you there to make your payment over the phone. And the city doesn't charge additional fees for paying with a credit or debit card. So, and those same numbers will work if you have to sign up for water service by phone or email. So if we're still there, somebody's able to process your payment as well as your service connections if you so need.
And just wanted to make that clear. So even though the doors may be locked to Eden City Hall, that doesn't mean that the city still has people working every day, and they're still there, and they're able to continue to do their jobs every day. And so if someone has an issue, they can call, and someone is still going to be able to answer those questions and help them out.
That's absolutely correct. And if you call ahead, you can get patched through to the correct department, and then maybe can save you some time and effort trying to come into the city hall, because right now they're really restricted to just the essential employees in there. So
right.
A lot of people are working remotely these days.
Now, essential services, and I mean essential city services, such as the police department and the fire department, they are, of course, still answering calls every day, going out if they have to. And if they, I know that right now, I believe that the Eden Police Department is following the same guidelines that a lot of other agencies, that if you have something, for instance, if someone steals your license plate, or maybe someone does some damage to your property, or whatever the case may be, I understand that the police department in some of those cases, or maybe even in the majority of those cases, may be taking those reports by telephone, but they still respond if they need to go out. For instance, a disturbance call, they're still answering those type of calls. Am I right there?
Yes, you are correct, and I think kind of the way I understand it is if there's a crime or alleged crime that's been committed and it's already happened and nobody's in danger, they may not respond to that as quickly as they will if, like you said, a domestic disturbance is going on. So if there's stolen property, that's kind of unfortunately having to be put on the back burner to avoid some of the contact with citizens, because we'd be in major trouble if once any officer were to be come in contact with a positive test, then we'd really have to shuffle the department to be able to provide the safety for the citizens with the police as well as the fire department. So, yeah, they're answering calls. They're still working. They're taking anything they can via telephone or email, and then working the cases with that. So, yeah, they're still there. They've altered the shifts for the administration to where they're not in there at the same time, and to avoid contaminating anybody and messing up the whole department. So, yeah, there have been some changes, but they're still there 24/7 to help you if you are in need.
Are you getting a lot of questions from citizens about not just the resources in Eden, but resources that may be available through the state of North Carolina, state resources? I understand like NC 211, where people can call up. There's also, if you want to use that, you can just do 211, but you can also call a toll-free number. But are you getting a lot of questions about that?
You know, I really haven't had a lot of questions. I think probably it's because the national and the state media have done such a good job, and y'all too, about getting out the websites that are available. I said last week, there are so many of them that you almost can't keep up with the ones that are changing day to day. But
yeah,
two of the ones that I think are very important for people to have a bookmark to is the CDC, which is cdc.gov/coronavirus, and then the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is www.ncdhhs.gov/coronavirus. So those two will maintain and continue to update regulations and requirements and places that people have tested positive. Those are two of the best sites to keep up with on a daily basis if you have the ability.
NC 211, by the way, is a United Way agency. Just wanted to share something with you, with our viewers. If you look at the bottom of the screen there, if you text COVID NC to 898211, they will text updates to you every day on different things going on. Received one I get these every day, and I got one just a little while ago talking about if you need child care during the coronavirus pandemic, how you can do that. It gave you that information there in the text. So it's really a great way of keeping up with what's going on. A lot of this information is coming from the Department of Health and Human Services in Raleigh. So it's COVID NC to 898211. Sign up for those updates. And not only do you get those in English, but you can also get them in Spanish for our Spanish residents that live in our area. So that's a great resource, Mayor. So, and thanks for giving us those others as well. Now, we understand that Eden is under a state of emergency just like other locations, right?
Yes, we did declare a state of emergency it's almost 2 weeks ago now, but yeah, and that allows the city to, be able to respond to a myriad of different ways if we need to, and to respond to issues. And as far as the stay-at-home order, the city of Eden, at this point, we don't have a separate order from the states. All citizens are expected to abide by the governor's stay-at-home order. And, just to refresh it, that order directs people to stay at home except to visit essential businesses or to exercise outdoors or to help a family member, and obviously for medical, if you need medical attention. And again, it bans gatherings of more than 10 people. And then most importantly, I think this is a big part of the ordinance or resolution that Reidsville adopted. It directs everybody to stay 6 feet away from anyone not in your household. And Reidsville recently enacted this where they're enforcing or going to enforce the 6-foot radius in the big box stores, which is important. And that's, we felt like that's part of what was in the governor's order already.
Right.
And, we haven't adopted a separate order yet. We just recommend following the CDC guidelines.
Now, here's a question that I've got to ask you, because there seems to be a lot of confusion. There seems to be a lot of misconception about curfews. And I asked Reidsville Mayor Jay Donaker this question. Reidsville is under no curfews. The City of Eden, are there any curfews underway there? Because people really seem to be confused about this whole thing. So I want to clear the air right here with you on the air. Is there a curfew in Eden?
There is no curfew in Eden. If there were to be one, it would most likely come from the state level,
right,
requiring that everybody have that curfew. And based on that crime report that I just watched you do, people are not staying home anyway. So I think we might need a curfew, but that's not happened thus far.
Right. Yeah, obviously people are out and about. Yep, and so we do recommend that you stay at home there, like the mayor says. So again, no curfew for those of you that's been hearing this and been sharing this information. I just saw it yesterday. Someone said, why aren't they enforcing a 5 o'clock curfew? There is no curfew, to my knowledge, anywhere in our viewing area. So just to make that clear, wanted to make sure that people understand.
That's a point that I'd like to make too. This whole situation is new to everybody. It's scary enough that there's really no need to start rumors or spread rumors that are not based on facts. And I understand some people get the joy out of trying to get things stirred up, but like I said, people are already scared of this thing enough that you don't need to be posting things on social media that are just not true and trying to incite some additional fears.
Excellent advice. I agree with you 100%. Let's talk about, you talked about the CDC just a few moments ago. I think that you pretty much are following along with the CDC and what you're telling people too. Hey, wash your hands, stay at home, maintain your distance, and be careful, right?
Yep, that's basically what we're trying to ask people to do, as hard as it seems to be. The Rockingham County Commissioners last night approved a resolution in support of continuing to follow the CDC guidelines, and Eden fully supports that resolution, and we totally agree that that's right now the best plan of action is to, like you said, wash your hands and stay at home, and then if you can't be at home, then make sure you social distance and stay 6 feet apart. I think that nationwide people are doing this. I was watching the news this morning, and they had an AP poll where they said, I think it was 92% of Americans are saying they're not attending gatherings of 10 or more.
Right.
Got to wonder about that other 8%, but I think that people are getting the point, and it's just starting to work. It may start to flatten the curve, as they say, and if people just stay with it, then I think that we can minimize the damages that we'll be faced with. So, yeah, those things the CDC recommends, as well as what the county commissioners and the state have already recommended. I think that those are the only tools we have at this point. There's no vaccine, and although they're working hard on that, but those are the only way to stop the spread. So hopefully everybody will use those tools to the best of their ability.
This is the next one is my favorite. I think I'm going to make some of these up, and I'm going to start posting these around. Jonathan, we see this one. Keep calm and wash your hands.
Yeah.
I think that's a great one. I love that one. So I think that's great advice. Keep those distances and keep your hands away from your face. I know Charles and I were talking about that over the weekend, how tough it is because people, especially with seasonal allergies, they're so used to rubbing their eyes and maybe blowing their nose and touching their face. You got to be really careful about that because that's the passageway. So just be calm and wash your hands and do that. Mayor, you got anything else you want to talk about before we close out?
Just that the city staff, they're constantly updating the website and the social media pages with Facebook and Twitter to try to, just try to keep everybody informed about any available resources that we do have or any news or any items that come up that needs to be shared. So everybody's working hard to keep everybody informed. Although it's a tough situation, hopefully we'll all just stay strong and keep doing the right things, and we'll get through it sooner rather than later, we hope.
Right. And I think you had some other things you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, I'd like to mention actually a couple of local companies that have been involved in trying to fight off this virus. AC Furniture, they're making masks and booties for shoes, as well as some hospital gowns and things. And then another company, Anofi, is making masks as well. And then Eden Custom Processing, last week they were awaiting approval to make hand sanitizer. So, and Eden Drug too, they're making and selling hand sanitizer. So these companies and people are changing to do what they can to help decrease the spread. And then one more, there's a locally owned minority and owned by a veteran. It's a company here called Print Pack Sense, and it's a printing company, and they're working with companies in Garner and King, and they're trying to produce and distribute some face shields. So we got a lot of companies that are pitching in and trying to save from having this thing spread around.
Right.
And let's see, another note I had was is the social distancing as far as when you're in a store or when you're in a restaurant or wherever you go in to pick up something. I would encourage you, obviously we're encouraging, not requiring, but encouraging the business owners. They're the ones that are going to have to make the decision to do it the right way. And I would ask that any citizen who's in a place of business that you don't feel like they are abiding by the manager, and tell them that you didn't feel like that was the safest place to be. And if you don't get any satisfaction, then just call City Hall. We'll have somebody stop by and pay them a visit and make sure that everybody's doing it the right way. And I know that Mike Doherty and Randy Hunt have been going around to local businesses and visiting with them and ensuring, and so far everyone they've gone to has been in compliance with either the face shields and the tape on the ground, and they're going around just to remind the people that this is the way it's going to have to be done for a while, and they're having a good bit of success with that. So
okay.
Just keep doing that, and let us know if you see somebody who's not. The other thing I want to talk about was the project. Finally, some positive news in the midst of all this. Our Eden Youth Council, which is kind of like our junior city council. These are high school age and a couple of college age kids that volunteer their time. They serve on this youth council as a learning experience for municipal government, and it really is a volunteer base. They do a lot of projects. This is on a building in Washington Street that the members of the youth council individually went out there either by themselves or with a sibling and painted this project on the walls. Hope flows through Eden, just to keep everybody in mind that we're going to get through this. We have hope, and that youth council is a great organization, and they do a lot of good projects. And this was just one that they've been limited on some of the things they could do. So this was an idea that they could do one at a time, or with their siblings. So it was a good project, and we appreciate them beautifying the downtown area.
I like it. I think that's great, and this is fantastic. And we know there are people out there are people that do have to go to work every day. They're still working in essential businesses, and so they must go to work every day. And then there are people that have to get out and go maybe pick up their medications, or maybe they have to go pick up groceries and food. And so when they pass by there, they're really going to get that good feel by that, good vibes from that. And I really like that. So the Eden Youth Council deserves a lot of credit for that. How long did it take them to do this, Mayor? Do we know? Is this temporary, or is that going to stay there for a while? Or is this something
I hope it'll stay there. I mean, it's a bright spot in the building there that's in an old part of town, and it looks good. And I don't think it's not temporary. I mean, it's painted.
Oh, good.
I wasn't there, so I'm assuming it's in regular outdoor paint. So hopefully it'll last a long time.
All right. So thumbs up from us here at Star News TV to the Eden Youth Council for a fantastic project and something to bring some hope and some good feelings out of all of this, because we all know that every day there's bad news, but this brings some hope, and I like it. So good job there. Mayor, did you have one more thing you wanted to mention about maybe some changes in coming?
While we were on that, I want to thank Linda Burnett. Now, she owns the building, and let the children use that as their canvas. So thanks to her for that. Yeah, one other thing you mentioned a minute ago, some people have to go to work every day for their essential job, and I just wanted to tell you one that as of Thursday won't be having that problem. It's our Chief, Greg Light. He's retiring after 27 years with a total of 30 years of credible service to Eden. He's been with the Eden Police Department since April of '92, and he joined as a reserve officer. Mm-hmm. But during his 27 years, he's worked as a reserve officer, a patrol officer, a detective in the narcotics unit, a detective in general investigations unit, a detective sergeant and detective lieutenant, administrative captain, deputy chief, and finally chief of police. His last day of work is tomorrow, and he's officially retiring on May the 1st. He'll be able to, at that point, spend more time with his wife, Wendy. They've been married 23 years, and they got two great kids. Hannah's 19 and Adam's 14. And Greg loves spending time with his family and watching his son play soccer. So we're just happy for him, and hopefully he'll enjoy retirement as much as I think he's going to. I think he may do he'll continue to do community service and probably be, he's talking about being an athletic director part-time at the Community Baptist Church where his kids went to school and go to school. Right. So I just wanted to make sure that the citizens realize that we're losing a big asset to the city and particularly to the police department. He's been there, he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's the example I use to the new officers when I swear them in, which has been quite frequently lately due to retirements. I say, look, here's the guy who came as a reserve. He basically was volunteering his time, and now he's the chief. If you stay in this organization, and we have a bunch of people who stay from the beginning of their career to retirement right here in Eden. So they have a great family bond there, and they're going to miss Greg, and I'm going to miss Greg as a chief. We do have our new chief selected, and it's going to be Clint Simpson. He's the deputy chief now, and he'll be moving into that role once Greg retires. And, of course, we're excited about Clint's journey as a chief, but just wanted to end this call with that notice that Greg is going to be retiring, and we're happy for him, but we're going to miss him.
And I can say that as someone who worked for the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office years ago. I worked with both Greg and Clint. I worked for the Sheriff's Office. They worked for the Police Department, but we worked sort of as agencies side by side in different things. And of course, I would run into them a lot in my work and in theirs. And so, two great selections. We're sorry to see Greg go, but wish him the best. We know he's going to keep busy, especially with athletics, because I know he really enjoys athletics. And then Clint stepping up to Chief of Police, that's going to be fantastic. So I think those are two excellent, two great pieces of news. And I'm sorry that Greg is leaving, but of course, he's going to enjoy retirement. I don't know of a law enforcement officer yet that is not enjoying retirement, Mayor. So I think he's going to do that, and I'm sure he'll be a fixture around Eden. I'm sure people will still see him. We're out of time. Listen, thank you so much for making time to be here with us today for this update, and we want to continue to get these updates from you on what's going on in the city every week.
Yeah, please, let's stay in touch, and like I said last week and again tonight, you know, we work together, we'll get through this, and we're going to come out better on the other side. So everybody keep doing the right thing, and we will get through this situation.
Eden Mayor Neville Hall, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it, and have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, and we've got a lot of things coming up for you right after these messages. Stay tuned. You're watching Star News TV.